There is nothing wrong with making mistakes.
After all, making mistakes is one of the key ways we learn, grow, and build all sorts of important qualities like persistence and resilience. Mistakes become a problem when we keep repeating the same ones.
When we continually repeat the same mistake, we aren't learning anything from it. Worst yet, repeating the same mistakes stalls any positive progress we may be making in life.
If this sounds familiar, and you are ready to stop making the same mistakes, consider these 9 tips.
1. Identify the mistakes you repeat.
You can't take action on your mistakes until you identify and acknowledge them.
Strive to be more aware of the present moment. If you make a mistake, ask yourself if this is something you keep doing.
Once you have an idea of the mistakes you keep making, you can correct them.
2. Why does this keep happening?
Once you have singled out a mistake, or more, that you keep repeating, ask yourself why this keeps happening. Getting to the root cause of why you are repeatedly making the same mistake is important because it allows you to address the underlying cause.
3. How do my mistakes harm me?
A great way to avoid making the same mistakes again is to carefully consider how they are harming you. When you identify your mistakes' negative impact, you will naturally feel more motivated to stop them.
4. Learn a lesson from your mistakes. A mistake isn't a problem if it teaches you a lesson. Make sure that you take a lesson from each mistake you make. When it comes to recurring mistakes, the lesson should be identifying ways to avoid making a mistake again. 5. Make a plan.
If you are struggling to avoid certain mistakes, make a plan of attack. Take the time to write down steps you can take to address the mistake. This simple act not only gives you a plan to take action on, but it also helps your subconscious recognize the mistake, hopefully, before it happens again.
6. Change your habits. If you keep doing the same things, you are going to keep making the same mistakes. It might be time for you to switch things up a bit.
By building positive habits or avoiding negative ones, you change the way you do things. Ideally, this means you will get different results, which may be enough to avoid certain recurring mistakes.
7. Address your weaknesses.
Once you have identified your recurring mistakes, check to see if they are caused in part by any weaknesses you have. If so, consider taking the steps needed to address those weaknesses. If you can't address a weakness on your own, consider asking a close friend for help. 8. Apologies must mean something. If you repeatedly make the type of mistakes you have to apologize for, remember that an apology has to mean something. Take time to consider how you may have harmed someone else, and when you apologize, do it thoughtfully and sincerely.
When you recognize the severity of your mistakes, it's easier to avoid them.
9. Surround yourself with honest friends. A great way to break the cycle of repeated mistakes is to have friends that aren't scared to tell you how it is. When you have loved ones that feel comfortable calling you out, it helps you avoid making the same mistakes repeatedly.
They will tell you the things that you might not want to admit to yourself.